I think everybody recognizes the magnitude of challenges facing this country, from our national debt and healthcare crisis to the need for a century of new infrastructure and energy security. We're really at the edge of a very different kind of America. And the institutions and traditions that we've relied on to solve these problems over the decades are strained to the point of dysfunction.
And so we felt that one of the things that needed to be done is to create an environment where you could encourage common ground.
What we've tried to create here at the Bipartisan Policy Center is a place where the great intellects of both parties and the political leadership and capital can come together, both come up with substantive solutions that are true to both Democrat and Republican ideals, and then do something about it.
It made a lot of sense for me to have 4 former leaders, 2 R's and 2 D's, me and Baker and Daschle and Mitchell, because we trusted each other.
It recognizes the need to take account of the other party's point of view and to translate it into useful policy.
The kind of important work done by the Bipartisan Policy Center is to take very difficult issues, to try to bring 2 points of view, 2 competing points of view together to come up with a meaningful and realistic solution.
When Senators Mitchell and Daschle and Baker and Dole came together, I don't think any one of them would have been prepared to set aside their own fundamental views and beliefs, which are different on a variety of issues. To be nonpartisan is to suggest there are no politics involved in these discussions, which is just not the case. To be bipartisan is to acknowledge that there are politics, but there are also opportunities for common ground.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned in politics, is that neither political party has got a monopoly on truth or patriotism or all the answers. And one of the things that's been frustrating for me here in the Senate is that we see these issues kind of divide on team sports basis, when in reality, the vast majority of us are actually a lot closer to the center than we are to the political extremes.
Well, the strength to me of the Bipartisan Policy Center is it helps senators who don't have really very large staffs to deal with complex issues like how do we reduce the debt, by providing us really competent, disinterested advice and specific information.
We're not satisfied just to put together good reports. What we try to do in the spirit of the people who have founded this organization is actually change national policy.
If I had to choose one word, I'd say the BPC is surgical. It's different, it's targeted, you make a diagnosis, you make recommendations, write the prescription, and you actually treat. No other think tank does that. Nobody else in Washington does that.
If we're going to get anything done on the big issues that matter, like the debt and foreign policy and housing and getting out of the recession, we have to do it in a bipartisan way. Otherwise, we have gridlock.
I believe it does things different than the other foundations and think tanks, and it has a great future.
The sense of purpose, the common purpose that we are here to try to do what's right for ourselves and future generations. If we keep that kind of symbol alive, maybe we can diffuse a little bit of the roughness at the edges of our political system.
I'm fundamentally optimistic about politics in this country. Next election night, half our staff's going to be rooting for the Republicans and half for the Democrats. But Wednesday morning, everybody's coming to work. Everyone's going to be there to make the country and the next president successful. And I believe that's really a demonstration of what can happen in the larger political system.
The Bipartisan Policy Center can turn to a place to be a convener, it can be an idea generator, and it becomes that support network for those of us up here in the Senate who are actually trying to carry out that image that the best policy solutions are found when you can find common ground.
It is possible to come up with bipartisan solutions to these national problems. We've done it before, repeatedly, in our national history. We did it while Bob Dole was Majority Leader, while Howard Baker was Majority Leader, while I was Majority Leader, while Tom Daschle was Majority Leader, and we can do it again.